There's a fine line between legal and illegal activity. When you start telling lies to people, having them believe that a certain project that you want their help with financially cost a certain amount, but it really didn't. This is considered illegal. You tell these people, I want to put together a movie, and I estimate its cost to be $300,000. When you know good and well that it'll only cost you $1,000 to put together. Look at how much profit that person has made just by telling the lie. Just by each of the people that would donate money to that person, him or her, being led to believe that, hey, okay, this project is going to cost them $300,000, so I have to give as much money as I can so that we can reach this goal together collectively. But then you find out that, hey, you know what? You've been hustled because it only costs $1,000. And then you start thinking to yourself, okay, I even bought a copy, even though I donated money to help him or her create it because I wanted to be of more help financially. So this is why I did it, although I was aware that I was buying the copy that I helped create financially. But again, I wanted to help financially even more than I did by donating that money in the first place. So then you buy a copy and you helped financially create it. And then you find out that this person or persons, they're making revenue off selling copies of it. So even before they sell the first copy of these DVDs, they have already made a huge profit margin. Remember, don't forget, the project only costs $1,000 for the whole thing to make. Maybe add a little more for each copy that you would have to run off and sell to each individual that would want to buy a copy at from $20 to $25 a wop, maybe even $30. Now, that's a lot of money that this person or persons have already collected from you illegally because they lied to you. They made you believe that this project would cost $300,000 and they reached this goal, but the project only cost $1,000 and maybe a little more for extra added this and that require for, copies and so forth. That alone has created them to be part of a lifestyle that sets them apart from a lot of other people, including yourselves that actually help these people to put together these movies and these documentaries and this and YouTube videos and the lectures. But I want you to understand something. Let me go off the subject for just one quick moment. It's not really off the subject, but it's kind of diving into something else, but it's warranted, okay? It's absolutely necessary. All these years you've been giving money to Tariq, Nasheed, and Tommy Sotomayor, and anybody else that constantly begs for money. How has it helped? How has it helped our society? And I'm being serious here. I'm not just trying to make a point and I'm right and you're wrong. I mean, this is very serious. I'm trying to get you to understand that what you have did so far, that you have deemed to be the right thing to do, hasn't worked. And we're talking about 20 plus years. So you can't say, well, you have to give it time to work, keyboard musician. Nothing happens overnight. And I agree with that. But these people have had the necessary amount of money, more than a necessary amount of money, and more than the necessary amount of time, and no change is anywhere in sight. How much more money are you willing to give to them? How much more money? How many more times are you willing to be lied to from Tariq Nasheed and others, but especially him? See, his main gimmick is concerning these DVDs. because he knows that he can get you to believe that to make one movie, it'll cost more than $100,000. He has you to believe that, you know what? I don't want you to think that you are the only one that's coming out of your pocket, because I've already spent $100,000. I've already spent $200,000. So basically, combined with your money, combined with the money that he raises primarily from you, and then himself that he lies and says that he has invested, we're talking $3 to $4, almost $500,000 to make this crappy DVD. Do you actually think that any one of his DVDs are worth $500,000? We're talking about a handful of interviews here. And I've heard that he don't even pay the people that he's interviewing. They do it for free because he wants to, listen, you know exactly what I'm going to say, right? He contacts these people, and the first thing that he wants to start referring to is, you know, I'm trying to help black people. He starts pulling the black card, and he starts talking about white supremacy and racism. So they are more than willing to have a discussion about how they feel about this and how they feel about that pertaining to black people and white supremacy and racism, because they also are being tricked into believing that, okay, this person cares, he wants to interview me, so let me pour my heart out with knowledge and wisdom. But in actuality, he's using these people in order to have a collaboration of interviews and wisdom and knowledge to be placed in one of these movies so people can constantly give him money. The whole thing is a lie. I can guarantee you right now, Tariq Nasheed does not care about his own people. He could care less. But see, the lie is to get you to believe that he does, because without having you believe that he does, he gets no money. He can't get you to believe anything else if he can't get you to believe that he cares about black people, because it would stop right there. So that's the first lie that you started to believe. And then he could start laying other lies on you that you would start to believe. And everything has to do with what? Money. Money, 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 money. Every year, I think I want to create a movie about this. I think I want to create a movie about that. What y'all think? Let me know in the comment section what you want me to write a movie about. But is it changing anything? We're talking about $500,000 that could go towards some good things. I mean, some tangible things that we can see, some tangible things that we can actually be a part of that's helping black people to grow and to progress. Not a fucking movie that will sit on your fucking... sit and collect fucking dust. And you're too fucking stingy because you paid too much for it in the first place. So now you're too stingy to even let somebody even borrow it, because you're scared that they won't return it back because you spent $20 and $30 for that bullshit and it wasn't even worth it. Has it been worth it, all this money that you have given him and everybody else concerning, racism and white supremacy and black this and black that? Has it been worth it? Nothing has changed. Everything is worse than ever. So why do you continue giving your money? Have you ever asked yourself this? Why are you continuing to give your money to a person or persons that can't produce any type of tangible progress, any sort of change? Something has to register inside your mind to wake you up from this slumber that you are in, to wake you up so that you can realize, you know what? I have made some grave mistakes. I have given my money to this man collectively with 100 other people, and we are making sure that this man stays in a certain classification when it comes to finances. This man, when he gets ready to do this and gets ready to do that, none of you can do that same thing. When he goes to Maui, when he goes to the Bahamas, do you think that some of you can just decide to go? No, because you don't have the finances. Because you're giving your money along with 100 more people to one person that you allowed to do these things right in front of you. I'm pretty sure some of you want to take your kids to the Bahamas and to Maui, but you never have. And you never will be able to because you are too ignorant to realize that you have been duped every time you give money to one of these people like Tariq Nasheed. I'm against him because of his wrongdoing. It has nothing to do with any kind of personal feelings that I have toward that man. I can see his actions in plain sight. I don't have to guess. I don't have to lie on him. You see it just as well as I see it. So you know I'm not telling any lies. Everything that I give to you is the 100% truth. At some point in time, you have to grab the truth and you have to hold on to it as tight as you can and never look back. Never look back. These people will continue to lie to you if it means that you will continue giving them money. Money makes them operate. You take away the money and see what happens. See how much they care then. Nobody is willing to take me up on that challenge, by the way. I've been sending that same challenge out for a number of years to any one of these people that be on YouTube. For a number, and no one has rose to the occasion and said, you know what, I'm willing to take part in that challenge to prove you wrong, to prove to my fans that it's not about money, it's about them. It's about us as a collective group of people, but it isn't. That's why they don't accept the challenge. In fact, they try to pretend that they don't hear my videos. They ignore them as much as possible because then they start confirming that they have been listening. Then they would also have to confirm that the challenge has went out. Then they would have to give it an answer, and they're not willing to do this. How much more money are you willing to give these assholes? How much more money are you willing to give these assholes? Your hard-earned money that's doing nothing for no one else besides Tariq Nasheed and his fucking family. No one else but his family. Recently, I put out information about him and his mother-in-law, and you know, he really was pissed. He contacted YouTube and he told some of the most amazing lies. He said that somehow I got a hold of his phone number and we had a conversation and I threatened him and I threatened his family. He even went as far as to tell YouTube that he took a warrant out for me. But he don't even know my name, so how did you take a fucking warrant out for somebody that you don't even know their fucking name or their fucking location? See, he was afraid because I was talking about attending church service at his mother-in-law's church that she pastors at, or is the assistant pastor. I don't know what the case might be, but I know she's a pastor, assistant or otherwise. She belongs to that church as a member, and sometimes she preaches the word. So, I mean, what's wrong with attending a church service? Because he knew that I would have a conversation with her on live video for everyone to see and to hear and get the real truth about Tariq Nasheed. And he was so afraid of that he contacted his mother-in-law and was hoping that she would listen to him and his lies so that she would agree to leave that church. And that's exactly what she did. She left that church, a member of a church for years. And because whatever he said to her, that I'm sure was the most amazing lies in the world that anybody could ever come up with, she decided, okay, it's time for me to move my membership elsewhere and keep it on the down low and keep everything locked down tight that I can so that no one finds out any more information. What are you afraid of? What are you afraid of? If you're not doing wrong, if you haven't lied to the people, then what are you afraid of? Why not meet me face to face and answer some of these important questions that you have never been willing to answer? How about meeting face to face? If you aren't afraid, if you're not worried about anything, about being exposed as a liar and a cheat and a con artist, then meet me face to face. Face to face in a public place. I'm not coming for violence. I'm coming for the truth. And I've always said that I'm coming for the truth and nothing else. But then I also said, if you start getting disrespectful, then I'm going to have to teach you a fucking lesson. That's not threatening. That's protecting myself. You think I'm going to let you possibly do something to me and I just stand by and say, la, 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 oh, it's okay, turn the other cheek. That's not me. That's not me. But although I'm not coming for violence, I'm coming for the truth. There are more people today that want the truth than has ever been before. Because people realize one thing that you can always agree with me on. There has been no changes and no progress. Ever since you've been giving millions of dollars to this damn nigga and other niggas that's been taking you fast. So can we safely say together and agree on something else? That these niggas are con artists? Because there is no progress and no change? But we're talking about millions of dollars later and 20 years later. So they have had a sufficient amount of money. They have had a sufficient amount of time. What else do they need? More time and more money, right? Every year, more time, more money. More time, more money. More time, more money. More time, more money. It's the same thing that's going on with Umar Johnson. I'm surprised that this man is able to collect even $1 from anybody else. People actually believe that this building that he was walking through is actually his building. That he bought it, and he didn't. It's already been proven several times by several different people that he hasn't paid for this building. But yet and still you have people that still believe it, regardless of the information, regardless of the tangible information that people have laid on you. You can't deny that information. People are hard at work. People are hard at work giving you this information on a daily because they don't want you to be a sucker. Anti-Afro Spengali is one of them. Lennon Arnold is another, and I hope I didn't pronounce his name wrong. If I did, I'm sorry. These people are constantly trying to give you the truth. And I really do believe, I don't know them personally. I'm not going to lie and say I do, but I really feel from my heart that these two people that I just mentioned, they really care about people because I've seen their actions. I've seen their actions for long enough to see something that I hadn't seen in others. So that's why I can come to that conclusion. That's why. The actions that I see in Tariq Nasheed, the actions that I see in Umar Johnson, I don't see that in those two. It's always about money. It's always about money. It's always about money. It's always about money, but no progress. Always about money, but no change. Always about money. We still got people that's being murdered. Even our kids are being murdered in school now. I'm not talking about any other race right now except our own. Our black kids are being murdered in school. Does that not anger you? Does that not piss you off? No, it wasn't my daughter. But I still have concern about it because it could have been my daughter. It could have been your daughter. How would you feel? Some of you would be in jail right now because you would have went in that school and killed everybody responsible. I know some of you. You would have showed out and wouldn't even care if you would have had to spend life in prison. It's a whole lot of you that feel like that. This mother and this father, although they didn't see eye to eye as being in a relationship of the little girl that was murdered inside that classroom. I do believe she was murdered in that classroom. I think they started to cover it up because they couldn't wake her and they started panicking. So they had to think quick on their feet. And it was several people. As a matter of fact, it was more than several people that is involved in this cover-up. But I'm praying to God that he makes them reveal every piece of cover-up that they laid on the people. This girl didn't deserve to die. I referenced this girl and the other murders because this shouldn't be happening. You have given over $1 million to Tariq Nasheed. I don't see him doing a damn thing about this fucking murder. He don't go to the scene of the crime. He don't talk to the fucking parents. He don't talk to the fucking police officials. He don't talk to the school officials. But yet you want somebody to give you money toward a fucking movie? What kind of sense does that fucking make? Why you collecting money from these fucking bullshit ass movies? Our kids are dying in school and you ain't doing a motherfucking thing about it. Now you tell me that motherfucker really cares about black people. He's worse than any white supremacist that I know of. He's worse than. He can collect money and don't even let any of this bother him. He barely mentions anything that goes down unless it helps him to collect more of your money. Now, if he starts finding out that that's what you want to hear is more about murders, he'll talk about it every day, as long as he can make more money. But as far as actually doing something outside of YouTube and collecting money and creating some bullshit movie, the line is drawn there for Tariq Nasheed. He don't cross that line. Umar Johnson don't cross that line. Brother Polite don't cross that line. Sarnetta don't cross that line. Tommy Sotomayor don't cross that line. None of them do. But how much money have you given them over the years? Over a 20-year period, millions of dollars. That money could have done so. You know what? I wouldn't be afraid to say that if the money was put in the right direction, maybe this little girl wouldn't have gotten murdered, because we would have resources in place that they would be afraid to do something like this, because they would be afraid of the repercussions. As of right now, there are no repercussions, and it's going to happen more. White people are sitting back, and this is what they're thinking. They're not in a rage. They're not marching. They ain't doing a damn thing about this. You know what? I'm going to train my kid how to shoot so they can start shooting these niggas at school. They ain't going to get in trouble for it, so hey, might as well. The time is now. This is what they're thinking. Because they know that they can get away with it. Do you hear Tariq Nasheed talking against it? No. All he wants to talk about is another fucking movie. That knowledge in any of those DVDs will not save a life, because it hasn't at this point. So why do you think it will in the future? So don't come to me at no bullshit. Well, if you listen to the DVD and you take it in, and they have been taking it in for years, but nothing has changed. It's on you. I'm coming back with more and more videos. I'm on a rampage now.